Hello, everybody. This is Hope Mama Eagle with Super Funny, aka Infinite Blessings, coming to you on a typical single mom Saturday morning. Woohoo! Shout out to all the single moms. Now, it's interesting that, I've been making friends with different readers on YouTube for a while. Like I told you guys, I've been doing this work for about 20 years. And shout out to all the readers that are on YouTube that helped me to figure out format and got me through some of the toughest times. Um, we are some of the hardest working divine feminines and divine masculines on YouTube. A lot of people don't understand how much time and energy goes into doing readings. Even when you're pulling the energy up from the earth, etc., you're still keeping yourself a clear channel for ancestors, etc. So it's interesting that I got up this morning and I was hearing I don't know if it's a mantra, but something that, oh gosh, what was his name? uh Campbell. Oh, and I can't think of the first name. It wasn't Joseph Campbell, but it was I think Scott Campbell. Used to work with this meditation, out of the nowhere, out of thin air, out of the darkness, to aid us we swear, pile upon pile of silver and gold, come without warning as you have been told. Now, you have to be careful with that because you always want to focus on no strings attached, coming from a good source. Nobody gets hurt in the process. That mantra works so well that I knew someone in Los Angeles that was doing that, stepped off the curb, got hit by a car, won a huge settlement, but you got to be specific when you're asking for things, praying for things. So the other one I know is my friend Lama Norbu, who actually travels with his Dakini. Um, he has a Tibetan sense of humor, and so he says that until you are on sacred land in the home of your choice, comfortable enough to keep helping others, Om Mani Padme Hum can also translate into Om Mani Padme Hum. And if you have issues with that, feel free to talk with him because he carries one of the oldest lineages in Tibet. So good luck with that. Anyway, ancestors woke me up this morning and literally said, you need to do a reading called Infinite Blessings with the dollar sign in the blessings because um, so many people coming out of 2020 into 2021, there was a lot of uncertainty then. There's still a little bit of uncertainty now, which is why people turn to channels like this, for authentic support, clarity, protection, that sort of thing. But I keep thinking about Dolly Parton, and I can't remember which movie it was she did, but she had a funny saying. She said, if you'll pardon my expression, money's like manure. It don't do anybody any good unless you spread it around, So it's true. And I teach my students that money is like the garden hose, you need the garden hose attached to the tap to water your garden so the seeds sprout. But if you step on the garden hose, if you get into poverty consciousness, etc., it can actually back up the flow all the way into the pipes. And if your pipes burst, you got an even bigger problem that's going to cost you even more money. So, money is energy. Especially when you're coming on YouTube and, there's people, this is their sole source of income. I told you guys I was working out of a shop that was disrespecting my daughter. So I brought the show here on YouTube, so to speak. And now we've got Gestapo trying to tell us that holistic first responders don't qualify for unemployment. So, I said a prayer. What do I do? Ancestors said, use your super funny channel because Humor is one way to shift drama to dharma, that missing H. And, just keep doing what you've been doing. Grandpa Wallace Black Elk asked me to step up in his footsteps before he went home as peace advisor for the American Indian movement. Bunch of misogynistic yo-yos thought they knew better than him. So this is how I help people. Whoever needs to come to this channel is going to be drawn to this channel. My understanding, it's already reached elders all the way far east as Arkansas. Bless your heart. So, north, south, east, and west, it's going to reach who it needs to reach. So, for me to be guided to get up this morning and do a read called Infinite Blessings, it's literally sending blessings out to y'all and bringing blessings back in for me to continue to help veterans and so forth on a sliding scale. So, without further ado, I know I was talking with y'all yesterday about doing an Egyptian star, and I'm tickled that ancestors are wanting me to use Vision Quest Tarot in an Egyptian star. Can't wait to get Egyptian cards, because then I can do an Egyptian star with Egyptian cards. I'm still learning about channels. A lot of my fellow readers have Amazon wish lists and stuff like that. I myself am working on my own deck that will correspond with my memoir and the book that I'm writing to somebody just said solidify the practice. Not only that I started with the Kahuna and Grandpa and Tenzin, but also the Kahuna asking me to carry on his practice of IT, which stands for Integrated Therapies. So if we look at this Egyptian star, we've got, when you work with an Egyptian star, you have the question is the first card. Then you go to the next point of the star, which is main concern. The card directly across from that is keep in mind. The card at the bottom point of the star is advice or course of action. The card at the top is resolution. And then in the center, you have past, present, and future. So if I read the spread this way, as the cards just hit set, the timer just hit 717, which is that twin flame energy too. Most people are focused right now on Five of Fire, which is also Five of Wands. So there may be a little bit of conflict as to, not so much conflict, but maybe worry, stress and worry about finances, forgetting that money is energy, doing what we love, the money will flow. Working with the seasons, working with the cycles. Right now, we're still in winter as things are starting to thaw. The age of Aquarius, focusing on humanitarian aspects, is what supports and highlights our authenticity and protects it as well. There's been a problem with holistic people on YouTube, especially coming out of numbnuts regime, that people are copying their channels and so forth. I don't suggest anybody tries to do that with this channel, because I have friends of mine in DC that are constantly watching and looking out and protecting, and I'm constantly saying prayers for all the other integral readers on YouTube. So again, it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, discernment. The sacred protects the sacred. So just doing what you're being guided to do for humanity, keeping yourself open to abundance, knowing that you're worthy of being paid what your time and energy and craft. It's not just about what you're doing in the present, but everything you've studied in the past that's brought you to this point. So if your question is, challenge or stress regarding money, that Five of Fire, 2021 is a 5, so it's change. But go to the next card, which is Medicine Man, and in this deck is synonymous with the Emperor. So you see the Emperor energy. We all have masculine, feminine within us. Emperor is the epitome or the apex of masculine energy. We were talking about that yesterday. First you survive it, then you transcend it, then you transform it by mastering it so you can teach it. And, the teaching with the twin flames is that masculine, feminine, the reason you come in as a divine masculine, divine feminine as twin flames, 144,000 angels, is because you have mastered things over time to the degree that you can not only help to lift others up, but lift the vibration of humanity and the entire planet at the same time. So we talked yesterday how medicine can be, your thoughts. It can be, herbs that you carry. It can be sage, rosemary, sweetgrass. It can be working with your spirit guides. You see a hawk or an eagle here in the background, and a deer. I myself do totem readings with medicine cards. Been doing those readings since the original deck, which again was like 20 years ago. We all have, animal spirits that are with us. Sometimes it's the crow that follows you around, or the hummingbird, or the butterfly, you know, um, depending on where you are geographically. Sometimes, it's a spirit animal. But, again, medicine is also remembering the strongest medicine you have is what's within your heart. So when you come from the heart, you reach the heart. So if your concern is, challenges that you've been experiencing with finance, the emperor is telling you that it's time for you to embody your wisdom. It's time for you to strengthen your connection with your ancestors, because ancestors always want what's best for us. Our ancestors from 7 generations back are praying for us to have success in the here and now for the good of all. So when we tap into that energy, and again, remember that walking the path of a healer with integrity, every stage of our journey, we're brought another piece of the puzzle, what we need, not only to continue to heal ourselves, but to heal our loved ones, to heal our community, etc. So then, if we move from that direction to the next point of the star, Ace of Water, it's saying, keep in mind, there's a lot of emotion right now, that is important to let that flow. Sometimes we feel like people are telling us, oh, you're too emotional, you're too this, you're too that. But emotion is magnetic, and specifically joy. The universe loves joy. I tell people it's like a parent at the store, when your kid's kicking a fuss, getting upset, demanding this, that, and the other. You're not going to get it for them. You're going to give them that look that they better adhere to, and you're going to get them out of that store where you can have a private teaching moment, but you're not going to give in and give it to them, because there's no reason to, reward bad behavior, But when that same child learns that lesson and comes in and says, I've been trying to be good, and I've been, helping grandma shovel her walkway, this and that, and I would love to have that and, share it with my sister, blah, blah, blah. That joy becomes magnetic. And the parents looking at it, like looking at the child like, okay, hey, we learned this lesson, we evolved, we grew, we're grateful, we're not greedy, we're not expectant, we're just trusting in the moment, and that's when you're more likely to get what you want, get what you need, is when you're in that flow, when you're in that moment of gratitude, when you're in that moment of joy, you know? So, you may find this weekend that paying attention to the good that you have in your life, even to the point where tears of gratitude and joy start flowing down your face, becomes magnetic, that you get those donations you weren't expecting, or somebody gifts you with a card to Target or whatever it is. I mean, abundance can come in many different forms. I'm going to start doing something coming up pretty soon here, maybe next Friday, called the virtual abundance, because when we have our own joy, it magnetizes on one level. When we're able to share our intentions and our joy with others, magnetizes on a totally different level. So I'm already doing virtual prayer bowl on Sundays. So people contact me with prayers for their friends, their family, their loved ones, themselves, their finances, whatever it is. They either comment or they just contact me, via email in confidence and let me know. People that can will donate to that. People that, are still building up their finances, they pray it up with us. So having a virtual abundance, I used to do those physically, where we would come and put the music on and literally dance our butts, which are also excuses, dance our excuses off, as we were magnetizing abundance, not just for ourselves, but for others, and then just celebrate as that abundance came in and people's miracles were coming to pass. So, no reason that we can't do that virtual as well. Now, what's interesting is you're getting two male energies in this spread, actually three, because you've got the medicine man in the medicine wheel as well. But that water, that emotion tends to be the feminine energy. It tends to connect with the high priestess, the divine feminine, the medicine woman energy. My grandma used to say that the reason that women don't need to sweat as much as men, meaning in the Inipi, in the sweat lodge, is because women are courageous enough to allow themselves to cry, and that we don't only cry our own tears, we cry tears for other people that can't cry their tears. And that as men allow themselves and break past that conditioning that they can't show emotion, they can't this, they can't that, and they allow themselves to cry as well, those aren't tears of the victim, they're tears of the warrior. So warriors' tears always water seeds of hope for better tomorrows today. And it's ideal to be able to get into the Inipi and send up the prayers that way. Always be careful who you sweat with. A lot of people hate me saying this, but grandma was descended from Nicholas Black Elk. She didn't mess around. And she taught me that medicine people always sweat with medicine people, because when you're in the Inipi, you have to be in a certain vibration, lifting energy up. On a side note, I have heard of both women and men that went into what I call makeshift sweat lodges, where they're trying to make things shift, not integral situations, and they were molested inside the lodge or disrespected inside the lodge and felt like they couldn't say anything. Myself, I saw grandpa one time go and literally dismantle someone's lodge piece by piece because they were disrespecting people that way. So if that happens to you, don't think, oh, it's holy for me to sit here in silence. Tell somebody so that it can be addressed and handled. If you don't know anybody to turn to, get a hold of me. I'll get a hold of somebody in the American Indian movement that will take care of it, how it needs to be taken care of in a good way for the good of all. So that's just something I'm being guided to pass to you guys, because sometimes people don't know. And nobody needs to be disrespected or molested or worse. So if anything like that happened, or if you know of a lodge where that is happening, let me know. The card that we're getting here for our advice card is Father of Fire, which also equates to King of Wands. And if you look at this card, you've got fire, which can illuminate or destroy, but you've got the warrior in the background on horseback. So we've got horse medicine in here as well. You've got buffalo in the background, which we got the other day, clearing the path in a sacred way. Buffalo also represents abundance. So when you need abundance coming in, call on buffalo to clear the way, bless the way, protect the way, from here to the horizon for the good of Mother Earth and all her children. And that's what will come in. So it could be that someone who is a fire sign, King of Wands represents someone that has a lot of passion. So it can either be a male that's a fire sign, or it can be igniting the passionate masculine energy within yourself. Either way, fire is also warm, so it's kind of like melting the ice of winter. It's telling you that, someone approaching that's a fire sign, male or sometimes female, with masculine energy that's a fire sign, is going to help you to leap above and beyond obstacles, bring in the abundance that you need, doing the sacred work that you're here to do for the good of humanity. So when we look at the top of the Egyptian star, we have the Four of Feathers, which is also Four of Swords. So it's kind of resting, rejuvenation. There's a saying, when you can't go out, go within. Mercury retro, even in Aquarius, is a time to rest. And if you kind of look at the word rest a little bit different, reset. I've got a lot of people that have been calling me feeling depressed, even borderline suicidal. And they're like, oh, I'm so depressed, it's a bad thing. But I think it was Stephen Hawking that pointed out the word depressed, when you look at it phonetically, is deep rest. So sometimes when we feel depressed, it's a sign from our ancestors that we need deep rest. So burn some sage, put some music on that helps you feel at ease. Sometimes I use chakra meditations. One of my favorites, there's a 10-minute, there's also a half an hour. I might put that in the link of this. Or if you guys have any questions, you can always email me or leave me a comment here on the channel, and I'll answer that. So, I don't ever recommend anything unless I've used it in my practice and have personally either seen it help me or help others in a good way, just so you guys know. But the feathers can also represent messages. So, just because Mercury's retro doesn't mean that miraculous messages won't come through. Somebody just said tickle your ear. So, what that is, some people call it angel radio, ancestral radio, whatever. When someone says something and, you get the tingles, or, your chakras light up, or you feel like someone's tickling your ear, it's an indication to pay attention. There's like a deeper meaning. So when we look at the center of the Egyptian star here, we've got the past card, which is Three of Air and Doubt, and that's the Three of Feathers, or the Three of Swords. So, it's a progression. Three is prayers answered. So when doubt is there, Grandpa used to say, when you pray beyond a shadow of doubt. You're sending your light up. Some people will say to surround yourself in white light. I never suggest that, because to me that's kind of like the beacon going out when they're having a car sale. It magnetizes anything and everything. So what I was taught, focus on the golden light of the mother. So even if you look at, gentle sunset, or, even in the Father of Fire card, that golden energy around the buffalo, just because the mothering energy is nurturing and protecting, and it's a very soft, gentle energy. We've been through enough with 2020. This is not the time for harsh, trying to force anything. It's the time to, sit in the center of the wheel, surround yourself with gentle golden energy, self-care, taking care of yourself, making sure your cup is full before you share it with others, that kind of thing. So the card in the center is the Five of Water. And it says loss, because fives do represent change. If you look, some of those bowls are broken, but there's two that are perfectly intact at the top. Those two can represent friendship. They can represent twin flames. They can represent the Two of Cups, which is like coming together, union, reunion, celebration. But it's just telling you that, again, focusing on the illusion of lack, because there's always more than enough for everyone. So when you focus on that illusion, of lack, you're bringing more lack in, or more illusion in. But when you focus on the reality of the two bowls that are still there, and you have gratitude for those two bowls, then, you not only see, the vision or reflection of what more you can do. You realize that the water cascading from the bowls that broke wasn't wasted either. You can see it seeping into the thirsty ground. It's watering seeds beneath the surface that we may not even be able to see. So, the future card, if you can focus on the gratitude, be grateful for the 2 cups that remain, is big medicine wheel. So, big, happy changes. Within 1 card, you've got the healer, you've got the eagle, you've got the cougar, you've got the white buffalo, and you've got the snake in the center. So snake represents on the back of a turtle. So snake represents transmutation, shedding old skin of fear, which is false evidence appearing real. You've got the turtle, which is the balance of Earth Mother herself, being able to adapt between water and land. You've got the healer, who is embodying the wisdom of their ancestors. The eagle, which is flying higher than any other bird to carry prayers to Creator and carry messages back for the people. You've got the cougar, which is protection and independence. And you've got the white buffalo, which represents sacred abundance. So the kind of abundance that comes in from doing the work the sacred is guiding you to do, trusting that all you need is being provided for, with Gracie's joy and least effort for the highest and best good of Mother Earth and all her children. So I'm grateful to the ancestors for the wisdom they passed through this reading, grateful to all the protection they're offering all of us, including all of my fellow readers and divine feminines on YouTube, divine masculines too. And if you guys have any questions about this reading, or you want me to do any personal work with you to help clear away any outdated beliefs or anything like that regarding abundance, I'm happy to do that as well. So I am praying for and with you, sending infinite blessings out, knowing that infinite blessings are coming in for the good of all. Namaste, optimistic. Have an amazing Saturday until we talk again. Takoya yase. Love you.